You are now watching Mach Green Podcast.
Okay, let's go.
You are now watching Mach Green Podcast. You are now watching Mach Green Podcast. Give it up for Daniel Smith and Jones.
Boom. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mach Green. I think we're in high spirits now. I think so. Also, before we get started, make sure you guys are following our YouTube page. Make sure you guys are following us also on Facebook. We are 60 or like 59 or 60 followers away from going live on Facebook. So make sure you guys are following that page, Mach Green, and also the YouTube page. But Dan, Dan, how about this weekend, bro?
Yeah,
how about this game, dog?
It was a weird game, and when you look at it, it was everything that I thought it could be and more. If we talk about the positive side of it, which we'll start with that, it was probably the best loss I've seen in a long time from the New York Jets. When you wind up, really looking at it, and that's a good thing. I mean, you couldn't get a better start from a quarterback than Fields was.
Yep.
And so even though the loss hurt, I mean, it was one of the best probably debuts from a player coming to New York in his debut game. I mean, honestly, he played about as perfect of a game as you could play. He's about the second rated quarterback of the afternoon and of the day. I mean, he played an awesome game. They should have won.
Yeah, and also
single time that the Steelers did something, the offense came back,
went back
and they fought.
Yep. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man, and like a huge shout out, honestly, to that offensive line. I mean, that offensive line, I think, was like the first rated line going into Sunday Night Football. So basically, the afternoon slate, the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, we went in as the number one, like with the ratings and stuff like that. With we were number one. We were at the top of the list. We only gave up one sack over like 180 rushing yards, something like that. Over that, and also now we have a quarterback that's an actual. It adds an extra attack on the offensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, obviously, with the scrambling and stuff like that, we didn't have that with Rodgers because obviously, he was kind of, playing it safe with the Achilles, which I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, because that's a huge injury. But also, we actually have a with Fields in the backfield, he looked very confident. You know what I mean? Like he was controlling the team. And one of the things that I was very excited about with that late hit that I think it was Ramsey or somebody had on Fields going out of bounds. It was nice to see the entire team sticking up for Fields. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we haven't had that in a while. You know what I mean? Because last year it's like, oh, Rodgers went down. All right, one or two people help him up. Nobody else is fighting. There was a couple fights. You know, even Wilson got into it with Ramsey.
That was a costly penalty though during that drive. Though.
Yeah, it was. But also,
and it was a clean game. I mean, I thought the refs did a pretty decent job, especially calling balls that were thrown in the air. You know, I hate seeing a game that's littered with constant pass interferences everywhere. And I thought they did a really good job at letting the game flow, which is really important to me as a viewer. And really is something that's taken away from my excitement of watching football on Sundays. Just, you know, hey, just throw it up. It's going to be a pass interference, especially because the Jets, for some reason, never understand that concept and just throw it up and try to get penalties. So it's very hard to watch week in and week out. But maybe it's because the Jets were actually like throwing the ball down the field that it was actually just settling me in a little bit as a viewer. You know, and then Brees started running the ball well and Fields started running the ball well. And I'm like, you know, we're not asking for too much here. We're just asking for people to be able to extend drives a little bit. We're not saying to even score on every drive. But, you know, like get us a couple first downs before you die out. You know, 3 and out, 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 field goal, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah.
That's not what people want to watch, especially people who have endured a 14-year non-playoff streak that leads all American sports to not making the playoffs, and you come from a very big market in New York City.
Yeah.
It's even more embarrassing. And you have butt fumble in your history. And you
also
haven't won since Joe Namath. And
it's just the and like for me, for me, it got to the point like I literally had to like, you know, clean my glasses and stuff like that because I was like, Did the Jets just put up 32 points? Like is that a real thing? You know what I mean? And then on like that 4th and goal where, you know, Fields kind of just skipped in, you know, like skip to my loo type of thing into the end zone on that play fake, which was beautiful. When was the last time we were able to see that? You know what I mean? Never. You know, so it's like he adds a whole new dynamic to that offense. And with that offensive line, listen, the test is going to be this week coming up. But if they play the way they played this year, like last week, very high hopes. And honestly, I do see you know, for me, like I think my prediction is not that bad. You know, it's not that crazy. You know, seven games is not crazy now, you know, after seeing last week's performance. You know?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because like we spoke about pre-show, is that this is about the best version of a Jets offense that you could potentially see all year. We may never see a game the rest of the year that looks as good as this game looks offensively.
Dan, you got to stop with the negativity, dog.
I have to
Come on, Dan.
I have to bring honest takes to this show and not just homer takes, and that is my job. And my job, could be. It's not like we've exploded all of a sudden. We don't know. Okay, it's the first game of the season. Everybody looked good, but there were some concerns. There were concerns mostly on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
So even when your offense gives you the best version of itself, you still can't win the game. That is really alarming to me as a fan because, like we spoke about pre-show as well, what if the offense isn't having a good game? Is your defense capable of stopping anyone? You know, these are the types of things that, you know, we want to dive into. But what is the next topic that we have, JR? What do we wind up getting into?
I think it's the offense being locked in.
So let's talk about the offense a little bit because the Jets take the loss. They're 0-1. We get it. All right. The game is over. We're looking now to week 2.
Also, can I just say this is because I just thought about it. This is probably one of the first games in a very, very long time that we lost, but I'm not that mad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
obviously, you know. Yeah, like obviously, like the us playing against Rodgers and, just not even the Steelers, just us playing against Rodgers. We had 4 sacks on him, still gave up, the 4 TDs and stuff. But it's crazy to say, like, the Jets put up 32 points. You know what I mean? It just sucks. And then obviously fourth quarter comes in. It's like then it comes back where with the negativity, it's like it's the same old Jets. You know what I mean?
It is and it isn't, right? I mean, until they start winning games and get this team to the playoffs once here, it's something that fans can really hold on to. And I know some people came in on the YouTube side of things, so I just wanted to shout out, I believe it was to something Demon. Welcome to the show. And then we have Victor, one of our old buddies and partners here. He came in on the show. And then we also have Scott. Just want to say what's up to those guys. But yeah, man, I mean, it's a promising thing here. It's something that we could move on and look to and say, okay, the offense is locked in. Well, what did they do well? Well, one thing they did very well is they're able to block for Justin Fields. He had one of the cleanest pockets all weekend from any of the games that you could potentially have watched.
I saw a picture, and it was sorry to cut you off, man, but I saw a picture, and they were like, "This is what an offensive line should look like." It was the Jets' offensive line during a play, and when I tell you, Fields had like 6-7 yards where nobody was around him, and he's just sitting there just scanning the field. You know what I mean? And we were talking about it before. It was like, on average, time to release the ball is about 2.8 seconds. You know what I mean? Fields had most of the time, Fields had nothing but time, but also he had that opportunity to, create plays and scramble out of the pocket and stuff like that. That brings a whole new dynamic to that Jets defense. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, he's quick. You know what I mean? He can run the ball. I mean, just like we said, like Breece Hall had, I think, like 107 rushing yards. Braylon Allen, they put him down. They played him on the third down. He had 9 yards, but they were 9, tough yards to get to. You know what I mean? So it's like it's promising.
I mean, that's how he plays. I mean, that's how he decided to come out and play the game. They were very aggressive with him as a thrower of the football, which is what I really wanted to see. Like I told him, I told a buddy of mine I was watching with, I said, I want to see them be aggressive. Like, I don't want to just see them like run. They threw the ball down the field. Fields looked honestly so prepared for this offense and for this game. Yep. The offense came out. They looked really crisp. They looked like a team that's been playing together for a while. And that's a testament to the coaches because they were ready to rock and roll offensively against an opponent, that they don't have a long-term success against, and a team that's always tough, game in and game out. And I think they are going to be, a problem in the AFC as far as being a playoff contender. And I think the Jets held up very well. And, now looking into this game against Buffalo, what are the things that we saw Buffalo could do well? And, I mean, offensively, how could we match that? Well, I mean, they were able to run the ball against the Bills. Granted, it was Derrick Henry.
It was Derrick Henry.
Like prime. But Breece Hall looks like he's prime. And so if
also with Breece Hall,
we're good.
Breece Hall has something to prove this year because obviously with all the reports and everything, it's like, oh man, like they're about to, they're trying to get rid of me and stuff like that. I'm not, I'm not their guy, this and that. But I mean, I have nothing against Breece Hall. I love Breece Hall. You know what I mean? Like, my stock is very high on him, and also I'm very high on Braylon Allen as well. But also Braylon Allen's young, and before the ACL injury with Breece Hall, he was probably one of the best running backs in the league. You know what I mean? So but then like last year he ran scared. So hopefully this year is kind of like, okay, because like I kind of compare it to, and don't call me crazy, but like, remember when Saquon Barkley, when he tore his ACL and then came back the next year with the Giants, he didn't, not a lot of production. That was kind of like Breece Hall last year. And then, with Saquon with the Eagles, he has nothing but success and stuff like that. Can we see that, can we see that success with another New York team? You know what I mean? With Breece Hall and those Jets, especially with that offensive line.
I mean, I think so. I think we can see a better version of Breece. And I mean, I just don't like how they used Brees with the last regime towards the back end. And so for me, there's a lot that I need to see out of him for, long term to see if you want to keep him here. But from his actual athletic ability, he should be able to set the table against Buffalo, where we should be able to work some kind of play action. And that is the key against Buffalo. If we're going to wind up staying in this game, we have to use what we saw in the first game. We pretty much have to replicate that. And
Absolutely.
we'll get into the prediction because but I mean the offense is just, for me, it couldn't have been any more perfect. Membu was locked in, had no mistakes at all. I mean, the
Yep.
Jets offensive line looked crisp. It actually makes you wonder what it would have been like with AVT here, how much better it could have even looked,
Yeah.
and what could have happened with that. But if this line can play tough like this and allow Brees to be able to get to the second level, allow Fields to have over 3 seconds to throw the football,
Yep.
which is what he had in this game, I mean, we're going to be hard to put down, which gets us really, honestly, to our next
Yeah.
our
But
next
also,
topic.
I sorry to cut you off, man. But like, I always think about, like, especially now, is like, because I played football, you play football and stuff like that. It's like, the locker rooms, you know what I mean, or even like the the film rooms and stuff like that, because it's like, okay, hey, think about that offensive line, that room. It's like, hey, we lost AVT, he's out for the year. Like, what do we have to do as a collective? You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's literally, I mean, it's been like this for the past 14 years. It's the Jets versus everybody. They use that the acronym, the what is it, the AGNB, the all gas no brakes. But it's like, now it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, like with AVD, with Vera Tucker hurt again, now it's like, all right, now we need to figure out, like, we have to find ourselves and be the next man up, just how it's always been. You know what I mean? But now it's like, okay, after seeing them in Pittsburgh, we might have, they might be showing a lot of promising. Listen, I know we're gonna go talk about the defense now, but I'm very happy with this game. You know what I mean? Like that. I know we're about to just
You're a little too happy for a loss.
but that's the thing. But that's the thing. I've never been so happy on a Jets loss. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, okay, like, this is it.
But
It's
here's the
promising.
but, because I'm with you. It's very promising, but it's not something that we have not seen before. Like Mike White has had a performance like this before, and then it's just not consistent. And so we've seen performances like this before. That Geno Smith performance to end the season, thinking a few years back. It's just like Scott
Thank
said
you, Orion.
earlier in the
Yeah.
comments. It's just like that. It's honestly the offensive line. Fields never played behind an offensive line like that before, and he was able to show his full complement of skills, and that's the reason why we spoke about. Remember last week the possibility? There was 2 possibilities of Justin Fields. He can either take that route that statistics have showed that he's gotten better every single year as a pro, despite the record or whatever his teams have done. Statistically, he's gotten better each and every year. So if you're a statistics guy and you're a betting guy, technically, by the stats, it should show with the guy given full reins without any interruption, with a good offensive line and stability with the coaching staff, he might look like that next version, which would be a top 10 quarterback. Now,
Right.
didn't I say that? And sure enough, this is what happened. He looked like a top 10 quarterback yesterday, or better, because things that we all talk about and everybody knows: protect the quarterback, protect the quarterback, protect the quarterback. These guys are professionals. They got here somehow. He was a professional that played at a very, very high level. He never really got a fair shake. His team sucked. His organization sucked. His coaching staff wasn't fit right for
Yeah,
him.
they set him
And
up
he
for
needed
failure.
time, and he needed time to grow with stability with the same coach. And the league just doesn't really afford that unless you get out and start out quickly, or you're coming in from a veteran that's sitting down and you're taking over for them type of deal. You don't
Right.
really see it that much anymore. And so these guys tend to do these types of things, and you're going to see more stuff like this across the NFL. The Geno Smiths, the Sam Darnolds, the Justin Fields, the guys who were, touted to play very well. They played on a crappy organization. They got tossed around a little bit, and then all of a sudden they grow up a little bit, and now they see the game a little bit differently. When these could have been guys who were sitting on your bench a few years and part of your organization, and now they're ready to rock and roll with a better supporting cast and a better everything.
Yeah.
See, just because these young people, man, they're like, oh, we got analytics and we got all these ways of looking at NFL football and sports, using statistics. But there's something about the human spirit and how human beings are and how people learn and process things. And I just wish that the NFL would find a way to be able to retain these guys without putting all the pressure on them. Because we all know, like Anthony Richardson, he shouldn't have been starting right away out the gate. Like there was this is a guy with talent, but they need to sit. And there's
Well,
no minor
also
league
I know
system.
like Brady said it in an interview like a couple years ago. He was like, yo, like all these these number one draft picks coming out of these quarterbacks coming out of college and stuff like that. And it's let's take the Browns for instance. The Browns do it all the time. They draft a quarterback, throw him in, and be like, hey, good luck. You know what I mean? And they expect them to win. And Brady said it perfectly. He basically said, he was like, you're literally setting them up for failure. Because you get drafted, cool, you're number one overall pick or top 10 pick, but then you're expected to to turn the team around. The reason why the teams are picking you top 10 is because they need the help. And the top 10 picks, top 5 picks, or whatever, or even the number one overall pick, they're the worst team in the league. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, a lot of teams, let's say the Browns, for instance, the Browns think they're going to get one player and then miraculously turn things around. That's not how it goes. You know what I mean? Because honestly, these players that are playing the 3 years, I mean, they're 21, 22 years old. They're still kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kids playing with grown men. That's why, for instance, with the Giants, everybody's saying, "Oh, start Dart, let Dart sit." Because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because it's like the more that Dart learns, especially in New York, you know what I mean? Especially in New York, you're all the lights are going to be on you. And honestly, I feel like when Dart hits the field, he's gonna be a tremendous quarterback. But
yeah, and the problem too is it's just the immediacy, and I understand it trying to get the value of the contract. So you're like, I want to get this guy the best of him in that early portion of that contract before we have to pay him. But just that structure alone, like having that mindset is what's killing these franchises,
yeah,
especially ones that don't have a history of getting things right and knowing how to do that properly. And that's the thing. And so you're putting this pick in teams' hands like the Jets, like the Browns, and so on. They keep fumbling it. And you're like, how is it possible that you can go through 5, 10, 15 quarterbacks and none of them work? And these are all guys that are considered high draft picks. And it's like because you're giving them to organizations that don't know how to handle it properly. And they fire coaches who didn't draft players. They let guys
the
start too
GMs,
soon. They
yeah,
win a game the year before that they shouldn't, where most teams would just lose that game. And you miss out on certain players that were deserved for your franchise. Now, like Trevor Lawrence, he's not a guy that he's not elite right now, but I wouldn't mind having Trevor Lawrence. And we were a game away from getting him, but we had to win a meaningless game late in the season the year
yep,
before. And it's like we do things like that, or we get the leftovers where again, Mark Sanchez did some really good things with us on the road, but we could have had Matt Stafford, but someone else was even suckier than us that year. And it's just like we're always missing out. So if somehow we could get Justin Fields and follow the statistical metric that says that he should be better this year than any year in his entire career, and then he comes out and gives us a performance like that,
yeah.
I think we should listen to the statistics there when we talk about that because he seems to be living up to it. Now, Buffalo's going to be a really good challenge to him, They just got off of playing a mobile quarterback, so this isn't going to be a surprise to the Buffalo Bills facing a guy like Fields. It's probably the worst opponent that we could be against the Bills,
Next.
coming off them paying
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. So
But
we're
let's
facing
how
this
about Dan?
third
Let's talk.
quarterback.
Let's talk about our secondary real quick and how.
Yeah,
I
they
mean, we.
suck, and they lost
I mean,
us the
we.
game, and they cost us everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's unfortunate,
it's as
man.
simple as that. It's as
And
simple as that because all the fans said it. We said it. Everyone said it. People who weren't fans of the Jets said it. People
yep.
at your job said it. Everyone said it. That Stevens was not going to be a good match for you guys. He struggled with us. I saw him struggle. Bop, 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 bop. And sure enough, you start doing a little bit of digging. You're like, I don't know if this is a good move considering Sauce just came off his own struggles. And it was evident as over 100 some 30 quarterback rating against him, six
Yeah.
completions, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what an awful start to your Jets tenure, dropping a potential game-changing interception. Like just the
Yeah.
typical New York Jets signing that doesn't go right and comes back to bite you always. That is what
And
Stevens was
also
for us.
and I say it once again, it pisses me off because we could have had help in the secondary with the Giants releasing Jabril Peppers at safety. And then obviously that wouldn't have helped Stevens, but like we get somebody over the top once again as a hard hitter like Jabril Peppers, and then who signs them? The Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I mean? And it's like it's so frustrating, dude, because it's like as fans, obviously, the managers and with the personnel there, they have to go through contracts and stuff like that. But it's like, like what is stopping you from even like considering? You know what I mean? Obviously, like I said, we don't know what's going on
They
in house and stuff
signed
like that.
Stevens. That's the problem that
Right.
scares me a little bit. It's like it's not like Stevens is a holdover from the former regime and you can't get rid of him because of the contract situation. You like brought him here as like your main guy, like when we brought Cromartie over, to pair with Revis, and like this was your guy,
Yeah.
just like and if you just know any bit of history from the outside looking in as a Jet fan and how important that number 2 corner is and how painful it's been over the years for the Jets to have that 1A, 1B type of thing. And every once in a while we get it, but most of the time we have a good corner or a decent corner, and then we can't find someone on the opposite side to match along with it. And he pops up every game. Watch, it's going to be Stevens. Stevens again. Stevens, and there's nothing that we can do because we do not have a lot
and
of
it sucks because like majority of the time it was literally just and because the thing is as a fan watching, let's say like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, like you already know they're lined up in shotgun. It's like, okay, cool. Why are the defensive backs playing back? Why are they soft on them right now? And like you automatically knew, okay, cool, it's gonna be a quick slant. Right at the line of right at the first down mark, and it was literally every time.
Yeah, he could have had a pick.
Literally like that.
Yeah.
It was literally every time.
And like Victor said on YouTube, he's the new Tremaine Johnson. He's the new Buster Screen, and then Buster Screen figured it out for a little bit, and then he lost it again. Like that, like he's all of that, like type of stuff where it's like, this guy I think he's gonna harm us, and I think he's gonna be the frustrating part of a lot of our play. And I think we have, Scott said, let Stiggers play, and I'm sure he will if that continues. But still, it's just, I know you can't have everything at once. And I know that, you can't have a great defense and a great offense and great young players coming up behind him in depth and this. And I know it's very hard to get everything at once. Very few teams figure it out. Usually it's a great quarterback that covers for multiple holes. But this is bad. And here's the thing, stopping the run, right? And I get it, and I'm happy with that. We stopped the run, but it would be better if it was, I guess, a different type of a team. We talked about like Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Steelers. They're going to throw the ball a lot. The run is just a compliment to make sure that you're able to have your play action that he likes to sit, he likes to sell. Other than that, I mean, we're gonna have to really prove ourselves here against James Cook and Allen, and that'll impress me if the Jets are able to hold them. But the Jets played a very good game up front. They were able to get pressure on Rodgers, and not pressure where it's like, well, yeah, of course, it's Aaron Rodgers, like he's slow. It's like no, like they were beating their guys to points of position and
Yeah.
then sacking Aaron Rodgers, and they were
Well,
able to
it was
dominate
like
in their
that.
spots.
It was that third down after after Stevens dropped that potential pick there. It was like third and 13. They made it like third and 18 or something like that. Dude, they got to him very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, and they swarmed them, and it was like, okay, cool. Like this is the front line that we love to see. But then also it's like, all right, and I feel like it happens every single time. Just like you said, it would be nice to get, all our ducks in a row when it comes to offense, defense, like every position. But it's like as our defensive line is doing well, our secondary is, like that DK Metcalf, that bobble, that like the circus catch that he had. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like you mean to tell me everybody, 4 players literally just watched the ball just fall into his hands.
How did y'all feel about Sauce's play?
Very Jetsian, very Jetsian. I thought Sauce played very well.
He did.
I thought he played very well statistically. He played very well. I thought he came out when he tackled. He tackled with an intent, not an intensity, an intention. Not really messing around. That's what I really like to see. Right. So he looked good, but when Steven is going to play like that, it's going to be tough, man. Because teams are going to start to spread the Jets out. And the Jets defensive line is good enough to keep them in games. I think the linebackers are good enough, sideline to sideline, making tackles, from what I saw. But I think that secondary is going to cost them some games and potentially put pressure on the New York Jets offense to do what they had to do. Like, listen, I mean, Justin Fields played the best game of his career to have to almost beat a 40-year-old quarterback in his first game with his team. And granted, it was his first game with his team as well. But I mean, that's asking a lot from a guy who is his first time, in a while where he really has the keys.
And also to even think about it, like, because like, remember we were sitting here and and complaining about, oh, why did not really high on Fields right now. He only played 2 series, threw 5 passes, went 1 for 5 for 5 yards against the Giants, and then he pops out and does this. You know what I mean? So at the same time, it's like, listen, and I'm going to keep going back to it. Very impressed with how he played. I think the number one, I think the major test is going to be the Bills. I think this is going to be the make or break, where like next week where we come back and we'll be like, yeah, it's the same old Jets, or it's going to be like, hey, this might be with the new regime coming in. We have a confident quarterback at the helm, a younger confident quarterback who can actually extend plays and stuff like that, roll out the pocket, and I keep going back. Listen, that 4th down, he should have ran the ball. But he dumped it off to Garrett, and I can't even be mad at that hit. That was a textbook hit. It was fine. Honestly, because that's what I was taught playing football. You literally head on the ball. You bite the ball. That was a perfect play. But he should have ran the ball. They had plenty of time to clock it. But
now on the defensive side, do you let Sauce travel with the best receiver?
Have to.
I think
okay. But also with the Bills, who's their best receiver? Is it Coleman or Shakir?
For me right now, it's Coleman. With his ability, what he's able to do when healthy, but at the same time, it's a type of offense where you could start the game if you want to play sides instead of him following, because I think that the Jets athletically can match up well with the Bills wide receiving group. I just don't believe that Stevens is good enough and he makes too many mistakes. And so it's just going to show up wherever Josh Allen is just going to find your weakness. And then
Right.
we're going to have to see how good is the Jets defense against the run? How good is their defensive line with now an opponent that is a team that is slated to go and potentially even win the Super Bowl this
Right.
year? It's a
And
next
also
step up.
and also with that, this is the game where I'm very scared of, because it's like, but with the Ravens secondary on paper is probably one of the best secondaries. You know what I mean? Kyle Hamilton, you have Jair Alexander. I'm drawing a blank right now, but like we have Sauce. You know what I mean? So
Nothing to feast, bro. I mean, that's
you know what I mean?
that's
So
what
it's
we're
like,
trying to
and the
get
thing
at.
is, Allen was finding holes where it was like, how in the hell is he so open? You know what I mean? So now it's going to get to a point where it's like, holy crap! What are we going to walk into at 1:00 at MetLife?
And JR, pull that up. Jets versus Bills, because we'll just go into it.
Yeah, we'll just
Because it's one of those things where it's like this team. You know how many times I've counted the Bills out at least twice in the last couple of years, thinking they were going to have their downfall, and somehow by the end of the year they look like a solid football team. And this is with losing their head coach, their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator. Like it doesn't matter. Just get rid of the owner. It doesn't
Yep.
matter, because Josh Allen is there and he has turned the corner, guys. We got to stop acting like Josh Allen is not about that life, because he really is.
But also, I think Sunday night showed why he was, because like all off season, and I said it every single time, every chance I had. If Joe Burrow made the playoffs, if the Bengals made the playoffs, he would have been MVP. That could have been Lamar's MVP. Joe Burrow Sunday night proved why he was the MVP last year. 100%. Listen, he literally put the team on his back, and he went off. And the thing is, the number one thing that they were saying was he was working on. Huh?
When was this?
Oh, dude, I've been saying it like all off season.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Sunday night.
No, I'm saying, but I'm like Sunday night was like Josh Allen showed why he was the MVP last year.
Oh yeah, I think he's probably the top quarterback in the league right now.
That's what I'm saying. Real. So now it's like, and the thing is, he can throw the ball. Apparently, like when they were when they were talking about it, they were saying like he used to struggle throwing to the left, across body and stuff like that. He had no problems getting the ball there on Sunday.
He's a veteran now, man. He's established, just like, he came out the same year as all those guys. They're all established now. They're all established guys, or they're not. You're at that level. They've been in the league, it's been over 5 years now. So it's
was it 20,
right?
2017 or 18?
Yeah, something like that. So it's over 5 years now that they've been in the league. Like, they're veterans, bro. Like, they've been in the league a while now.
2018, right? Yeah.
Dude, 2018. These guys, I mean, they've been around a while. He's a veteran. So, I mean, and he's a superstar quarterback. And he's basically pushed his team through that period where they're supposed to have that little downfall when you lose coaches because they're talented, because they coached you. Because they coached you, and so now they're going to other teams, and you're supposed to go through like a little down. They didn't. They kept rolling. So now the Bills are about to get into a time period where they're probably going to get even better, or they're going to stay the course for another couple of years here and sustain. And so,
and also with that
for the Jets.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, the one thing I was very surprised of was like the confidence that Josh Allen had with like with Keon Coleman, because last year it was like, he's having like trouble, getting off the line and stuff like that on press coverage and stuff. Listen, he looked great. He looked like he busted his ass during the offseason, and he's ready to go to work. And now with our secondary, it's going to be this week is going to be the major test on how, it's like, listen, we could either we have to do something. The number one thing we definitely have to do is just apply pressure on that defensive line the entire game and kind of let Josh Allen, try to make plays by himself. You know what I mean? And hopefully we have a spy also, kind of coming off of that defensive line, or even on the second line with those linebackers. Because that no matter what, we're definitely going to need a QB spy on every play.
Well, with that being said, let's do our predictions here, man. Because honestly, I think the Jets are going to lose this game pretty badly. And I don't really think it has much to do with the offense after watching this game. Although I think the offense will take a step back, and not be to me, as perfect as you could play a football game. If the Jets come out and they play like how they did against the Steelers, the Jets will win that game, and we need to have a serious discussion about whether or not what the Jets could do at the trade deadline to try to get some reinforcement for potentially going on a playoff run. And I truly believe that, because there's no way that the Jets could put out a performance like they did against the Steelers on a week-to-week basis and them not win more games than not. Like your defense is going to be that bad. Like you're going to pull like what you did against what the Bengals did, where they just put offense up and the defense let them down. Is we really going to do that to Jet fans? We're really going to not go out and get a corner somehow or do something to try to dig out a playoff team for Aaron Glenn in his first year? I mean, it could be done.
But also with that, I feel like as a player that's just sitting at home and in the free agency, I think last week's performance raised a lot of eyebrows for a lot of agents, where it's like, hey man, you could be a key piece, in this defense, or you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like from what we saw, it showed a lot of promise. And I think a lot of if there's free agents or anybody on the waiver wire and stuff like that, I think a lot of people are calling the Jets, or the Jets are calling people. It's like, hey man, like we could have a good thing going here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
those plug and plays. Like I guess you could get lucky. I know Joe Douglas used to have success with just bringing in small guys, even fifth, sixth, seventh round type of guys you bring in, on a trade, but they help your team or fit your team. I don't know, maybe experimenting with Michael Carter a little bit more and seeing what he possibly could potentially do out of that nickel position. Maybe you come up with packages that put Stevens in the best position possible, where you could still use him body for body, and so your guys are rested, but he's not such an integral part of the defense.
He's not CB2.
Like series to two. Yeah, like it's like he's CB2 on paper, but in game he's more like CB3, because we're rotating through a lot of nickel packages that don't have him in there. Like that sort of thing. Like they could do that maybe if he doesn't hold up over time, because like I said, we talked about this offline, with Aaron Glenn, and I guess we could talk about it here because it's in the same week as the game. But letting go of Xavier Gibson, especially you don't want to get rid of weapons for Justin Fields in a wide receiver room that is not very diverse, in my opinion, to begin with. You heard the complaints that I had. A guy like Gibson, I think, he made a mistake, yes, and he cost us the game, yes. But so did Stevens. I think Stevens was just as integral as costing us a game. Like, you may say, yeah, that fumble cost us the game, yeah, but so did your coverage skills.
Right, but also at the same time with that, it's like, just like you said earlier, Stevens got brought into, he got brought to the Jets. You know what I mean? They went out and signed him. The thing with Gibson was fighting for for a position spot last year.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? So when
stars, we talked about like stars,
right. So when it comes to that, it's like, hey, bro, you're we're affording you the opportunity to be here. You're, in a sense, not to sound like a dick or anything, but it's like, you're lucky to be here, in the NFL and stuff like that. And it's like, it's just like, even at like a job, man, or anything you do, hey, you have, one shot. That's it. And unfortunately, and the thing is, I like Gibson, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, he he quote unquote cost us the game.
Right.
You know,
does Lazard start this week, you think? Or
I mean,
listen,
I don't have a problem with Lazard.
Lazard is hanging out with card companies, finding his rookie card. Whatever.
But no, but I mean, like, as far as the player situation, though, it's like I agree with you to a point, but at the same time, you can't have that message of rah, rah, rah. You know, we're going to do this as a team and like that kind of thing that comes off with Aaron Glenn. And then all of a sudden, you know, one player fumbles. Like we talked about, what if Brees Hall fumbles? You know, like it's like we understand that they're stars, but then like your message just sounds weak. You know,
Okay, so what if we go
so he
what if we
needs,
go
he
to
needs
like
to be careful with that.
right, okay, so what if we go to like, you know, what they do in like college? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, hey, you mess up, you're sitting this game. For instance, you look at the quarterback for USF. The dude sat out for the first half against Florida because he went to a frat party. You know what I mean? And then the coach was,
Yeah, if they did stuff like that,
you know,
like also, like, I don't think that punishing your teammates on game day when, like, you know, something should be handled ahead of time. You know, I think just letting go of a receiver and then not really having like a plan for that, just to make a point that if you make a mistake that costs us a game, you're not going to be on this team. It's like, well, dude, you also, like, you're not going to run a perfect game and a perfect season in a perfect week. So what are you going to let half your team go because they make mistakes that cost you the game? Like, you got to be very careful with those types of messages, you know.
But also maybe he was like he was like the experiment. You know what I mean? Like he probably went into
you want to go in
the thing.
hard.
He was like, "Yo, like did like you saw what I did?" You know what I mean? Like don't let it happen again type of thing. You know what I mean? And it's like now, and everybody looks at it, it's like, oh, damn.
Maybe because then there's always someone like me that's in the back, like, man, what's this dude trying to do?
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like listen, Garrett Wilson drops a pass. We're not getting rid of Garrett Wilson. You know what I mean? Like,
no, so it's like, coach, just shut up, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what are you gonna cut the whole team? Like, so then, like, what are we supposed to take your whole this and this and buy into this when you're doing stuff like this that just really is just, oh, we're gonna set it. It's like we're gonna set a tone in here. It's like,
okay, so also maybe it was probably Gibson's attitude. You know what I mean? Because
maybe
if you know what I mean? Because like if after the game, if he went to the locker room and he was like, whatever, like, you know, shit happens and stuff like that.
Well, on the sideline, he was pissed. He was like, "My bad." He was tapping himself on the chest.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And then, but like maybe in the locker room it was something different where it was like, oh, you know, it happens. Like maybe he tried to put the blame on somebody else. Oh, well, he should have stepped up and stuff. You know, stuff like that.
Or maybe he just sucks. He had to be getting rid of.
No, I mean, listen, he made a crucial mistake that cost us the game. But it's just something to think about and keeping your eye on as the season goes on, depending on how the Jets play.
Well, that also goes to the point with like the next man up. You know what I mean? It's like, hey man, like, you know, you're like I said before, you're afforded this opportunity to play for the New York Jets. You're afforded the opportunity to play in the NFL. You fought your way for a roster spot. Obviously, it's not going to happen to like Fields or Hall or, you know, Wilson and stuff like that. But also like the guys who fought like during training camp just to get a spot. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it'll get to that point where it's like, hey man, you know, you need to like you need to, you know,
he almost had two fumbles. Remember that other fumble he almost had? Thank God he got touched.
And maybe that would be it. Where it's like, hey man, like you need to hold on to the ball. It's like, listen, hey, now you got all this time to you got all this time to practice.
It's definitely something to keep your eyes on because you don't want to hear that his messages are going cold, you know, too early in his tenure because he comes off. You know, these are generation of
thank
kids
you, Danger Zone,
that are different. You know what I mean? And so thank you, Danger. And don't forget, you know, like us on Facebook as well because we cannot post live on there until we get those 100 likes and follows. Yep. So go ahead and follow us on Facebook as well, so we can keep making this operation as smooth as possible. But with that, We got to put a score on it. We just saw the Jets offense could definitely put up points.
I'm waiting to hear yours because I've had the score in my head, but I gotta hear
Jets
yours.
are going to be able to the Jets should be able to run the ball in this game if the Ravens were able to run the ball, and this offensive line is as good as I think it could possibly be. So if they're around the 100 to 150 yard rushing mark, that means that they're going to be probably
Appreciate you,
in,
Danger Zone.
I would say, oh man, we're out. We got to get the emergency lights on.
Oh,
There we go. So,
It's at the Halloween show.
the Jets will win this game. No, I think that the Jets are going to lose this game, but at the same time, I really truly believe that they'll put up a fight. If that offense,
let me hear the score. Let me hear the score.
So the score, I think it's going to be 27. I'll go 27-23 Buffalo. I think that I think the Jets secondary is going to let them down again. I think the Jets are going to see that Aaron Rodgers doesn't move quite as well as Josh Allen, and it's going to surprise them a bit.
That's a close score.
The only way the Jets win this game is if they get a key turnover and they stay pretty much turnoverless, and they're able to contain Josh Allen on the edges. That is it. That's the only way they've ever beaten Josh Allen, is forcing Josh Allen into making a bad pass by containing him and having him do a stupid or making a stupid throw. That is how they do it, and he just doesn't do that as much as he used to do, and he's gotten better at it. So the only way that you stop him is literally, you got to contain him on the edges, make him one-dimensional. But again, he showed now that even without using his legs, because I feel like he used to run a lot more, he's been slowing that down even more and really looking to find the open receiver. And he showed that he could throw the ball to anybody on the field. And so it doesn't really matter who is out there. So I think we could slugfest it out with them if this is the offense that we saw against the Steelers. But ultimately, we'll make the key mistake again because we're the younger team. We're the team that's less experienced. And we'll make a mistake somewhere down the line that they'll probably capitalize on. And we'll miss this game. We'll miss this victory by a possession, like one of those types of things like we saw with the Steelers. So somewhere along the line, there's a mistake, there's a missed field goal, there's a penalty, there's a turnover that leads to a touchdown. And I think that's how we ultimately wind up getting beat.
So JR, remember literally for the last 53 minutes, it was just nothing but negativity from Dan, right?
Yeah.
And now you said what, 27-24 or 27-23?
I'll go with 24. I like that. That looks good on my screen.
So your score is way better than mine. I'm not gonna lie.
Would you be happy with that outcome? I think I would probably.
I'm about to say honestly, if we put up 24, still be happy, and I'll still be positive because that's what I bring here. I bring positivity, but also let's be realistic. After that showing from the Bills last week, Josh Allen is still the dog that he is. He's the reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL.
Right.
The performance that he had against, honestly, if it's not the Bills and it's the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl. Thank you, Lola C. That's my mom, by the way. I appreciate it.
What up, Mom?
What up?
I have the score. Bills 31, Jets 17. I still think the Jets show a lot of promise. The problem is it's going to be a lot of 3 and outs. It's going to get to like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4 and stuff like that. And they'll be on like maybe the 40-yard line and then elect to kick, to punt the ball and stuff like that. Obviously, us as fans and we'll be like, yo, go for it. It's only 2 yards. But that's a long 2 yards. You know what I mean? Like, and especially against that interior defense from the Buffalo Bills. Like, listen, if you guys watched that game on Sunday night, Oliver was tearing up that interior offensive line. Obviously, we were like Braylon Allen, and just like Danger Zone was saying, Allen's going to need the jaws of life. Absolutely. 100%. But the thing is, it's going to get to a point where it's like, we're going to get stuff that, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and inches. And then it's going to get to a point where it's like, hey, just like that, that play fake with Fields, on the bootleg there, that obviously, everybody has footage of what week 1 looks like. That's not going to work every single time. So I think the Bills go ahead probably maybe 24-10, probably in the third quarter, and then we probably it'll be 31-10, and then we'll squeak out
Man, if that happens,
we'll squeak out another touchdown.
If that happens,
it's going to be tough, man.
Not having a good game, and that means we have to completely reset what the Jets are. I think they're a little bit more in the middle of that. I think their offense is the real deal, potentially. I think the defense, it could get worse. So that's where I think your 31 comes into play, where it only takes 1 or 2 mistakes with a team like the Bills, who are going to utilize every drive pretty correctly on you. So you have to be careful with that. Scores could get that high. The Jets could be close and then all of a sudden have 2 or 3 bad drives, and it could be 31-17. You're like, dude, what happened? We were in this game.
But also, I'm speaking as a non-bias. I want to be non-biased about this. Listen, as a fan, I want the Jets to go, 16-1 from here on out. Like Danger Zone said, so Buffalo -6.5.
I mean that, yes. I mean Buffalo.
I'm not mad about that.
That's not a bad bet.
But also, if that's on, I feel like this is a trap game, because everybody looks at Buffalo and Baltimore. Like I said before, those are the 2 teams that are fighting for we might have seen the AFC Championship game there. You know what I mean? So on paper, those are the top 2 AFC teams on the AFC side. But the thing is, this is also a divisional game. As much as I would love to turn around and say, yo, Jets are winning this game 100%. And not gonna lie, so I have this Jets tattoo here. The only reason why I have this Jets tattoo was after the Jets beat the Bills, because my buddy paid for it. You know what I mean? And after the Jets won. So at the end of the day, I have to be non-biased.
What's that mean, man? Get out of here.
I know, but that's the thing. It's a divisional game, and anything can happen. Dude, look at the Bengals and the Browns. The Bengals should have lost that game. You know what I mean? Jets, and on paper, the Bengals are
the Jets. The only way the Jets win this game is if they contain Josh Allen on the edges and they stop the run. And I just don't know if their secondary can do their part after watching last week's game. So I think that the Jets are more like their offensive football, but I think their defensive football could potentially be even worse. So I think it's going to be that push and pull, because up front, the Jets played very well. And so it's possible that if they do what we talked about, where they kind of move Stevens around a little bit, they try to hide him a bit, they're able to get some of this stuff done defensively, where they can come out and kind of play hide and seek with their defense. But again, if you want to be a playoff team, if you want to be a winning team, all it takes is 1 or 2 mistakes here or there. And that's where the Jets are going to wind up making their mistakes. So I really do feel like that this team has potential to hang in near every game if they come out and play for what I saw. But that might be the best version of what we see all year. So this is a very big prove-it game for the New York Jets to see what kind of team they are. If they come out and they show more of who they were week 1 in this game, then I'm very excited about this season. It could be fun again, like watching a good football. But the weather, I'm not sure, but it seems always to rain in New York. I lived there for many years in New York City, and it always rains on the weekend for some reason, or it's at least wet in some kind of form or fashion this time of the year. People get mad because you're trying to go out in New York and have a good time, and it's always raining or something like that on the weekend after you worked all week. But it is what it is. But thank you everyone for tuning in general. Make sure you please like the Facebook Mach Green. We need 60 more.
It's gonna be sunny It's going to be a sunny game.
Hey,
Yep.
Oh, crisper.
A-
All right, and I like
A,
that.
a sunny, a sunny and 81 degrees. That is beautiful.
Wow, that's going to be a nice game to be out at the stadium. I know Lola said that you're going to be there. You guys enjoy that weather. Stop by lot D7. Say hi to everyone. Say that Jets Guru sent you, because I still got to represent that some way, somehow. And so,
Oh, wait. Hold on.
hold on.
Lowest 64, highest 78, 35% chance thunderstorms. On the weather
what
app.
we're talking about.
It's supposed to rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that might be like towards the end of the night. So Sunday might be maybe some overcast. You know what I mean? Like that, if there's some wet weather coming in.
I don't know. We still got a couple of days. We'll see. Either way, I still like Justin Fields for what I saw. I just really pray. Just pray. Don't pray for wins. Don't pray for any of this. Pray that Justin Fields looks like how he looked in game 1, and everything else will handle itself accordingly.
Yep.
Because that was the first time I've seen a quarterback in a Jets uniform look that good in a long time and look that control of an offense.
And also, can we, because we didn't, I don't think we went over this last week. Can we say that if like when at the end of the season, the division, it'll be Bills, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins?
No, we can't say that quite yet. We still need a couple of weeks to get on that. But the Dolphins have their own problems that they need to worry about, because that was a really bad showing from them. Me and my friend
Listen,
Swag.
that after that performance, I almost put money on Daniel Jones MVP.
Well,
that was
you can
crazy.
tell your boy Patty. You can tell your boy Patty.
No. So
the video. I'm just waiting.
Dan, you want to know what's crazy? He posted something on his Instagram saying that he's not a Dolphins fan anymore. He's an NFL fan. I was like, bro, you cannot.
Bro.
I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, because dude, like I wear this to work. I wear this hat to work. And people,
I say,
yeah, exactly, JR.
People, don't come here and start talking trash to me about my team, and don't say I don't collect receipts. And he said that he would quit his job if we beat the Dolphins with a healthy Tua and Justin Fields was the quarterback. And right now, my boy is sweating just a little bit on those words, because I am going to make the best edit that you've ever seen in your entire life.
I love it.
Of Justin Fields with him. Because I got the video on live cast. I screenshot it of him saying it. And he said, I will quit my job. He said it live on the air.
Yeah, send that to me. So send that to me, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you for sure. But if Justin Fields looks as good as he did week 1, the AFC East better look out, because that boy is coming. But I'm running out of light, guys. So we got to get out of here, because this thing is like just starting to close on me. So I don't know what we're going to do. But listen, I know what you need to do. I need you to share this podcast. And then when you do, I want you to like it. I want you to watch it again. I want you to tell your friends and family about Mach Green Jets podcast.
Make sure y'all go
on the scene.
And make sure y'all go on Facebook. Follow Mach Green, guys.
Follow Mach Green so we could share live on Facebook. And we will see you next week. Maybe the Jets might be 1-1, but probably not. Mach Green out.
You are now watching Mach Green Podcast.
Okay, let's go.